start. So as you guys can see, this is going to be for the interactive display user guide on how to operate the touchscreen. So currently my computer is connected to the interactive touchscreen. So what you guys see over Zoom that I'm presenting is a physical touchscreen. So if I use the pen and I tap on the screen, it'll forward the slide. So first key is powering on the display. Super simple. You will see the screen will be black and you'll see a red indicator light on its power button. This means that it is powered off. If you guys just see it with no power at all, check the power connection, make sure the display is connected to the outlet. You guys have live power in the room. When you press that red button, it'll actually turn white and the screen will come up. I'm actually going to do that now and show you guys what the start animation looks like as it transitions over. I come over here, hit the power button. Screen turns off. You'll see that my presentation went away. Now, touch the screen, turn it back on. This is the startup animation logo. And then give it a couple minutes. It is a 86-inch screen, so it takes a bit to power on, and also have the software that powers on in the background. So you'll see the time when it's fully up, as well as press to start. You just take one of the pins, touch on the screen, and you'll be brought to what is referred to as the main menu, right? So currently I'm connected down to HDMI 1, so I'll hit HDMI 1. And I will now reshare the screen with you. Now we're back to sharing the screen. So the first connection, or first way to connect is what I'm doing right now, which is using the HDMI. So right underneath this actual screen, you'll see the cable connection. I've got pictures on the PowerPoint. So there are two connections to connect to the screen. There's HDMI and USB. Both need to be connected in order to use the touch functionality of the screen. If you only use the HDMI, you will still get video, but you won't be able to use the touch pin to write on the screen or move the slides forward from the screen. So once you connect it on the wall, you connect it onto your PC side. I have a Mac, so I'm using a dongle, but you connect the HDMI directly to your PC and then the USB directly to your PC. It is driverless, so it doesn't matter if you have permissions or not to install things onto your computer. Connecting the USB treats it just like a mouse and keyboard, essentially, connection to the display. So. Next up is just saying that once you have all your connections in place, from that main menu, all you need to do is touch HDMI 1, which is the first icon in the top left, and then that brings the connections in over, so you'll see your PC pop up on the screen, and then you'll be able to control everything. The pins to touch them are located along the bottom. You'll see these orange dots when the actual, is that in there? Yep. When the pin's not in place. When it is in place, see it right there. So there are two pins. You can touch at the same time, but it would essentially be like using two different mice. So if you're touching things at the same time, they'll kind of fight over, so just be mindful of that. Move forward. So another way to share your screen is actually through Wi-Fi. So from here, the display is currently on the Eglin Readiness Wi-Fi, and so is my laptop. So if we go back to the main menu here, you'll stop presenting. Actually, let's stop for now. So up here on the top left, you'll see screen sharing. When you select that, it'll open up the screen sharing app. It'll create a new session. And then from here, all you need to do is type in that URL, enter the session ID, and the waiting connections will appear up here on the right. The presenter would then be able to select someone that's a participant by their name, and then be able to have their laptops stream over the network onto the display. It's generally lower quality than using an HDMI, but allows you to have a classroom of people be able to share their screens if you guys are doing any sort of training or anything like that. And let's go back to HDMI 1. Okay. Just have to do the slides. So this was the sharing the screen, actually seeing it from screenshots, right? So I selected the screen sharing from the main menu. That initiated. This was the share your screen. That was the URL that popped up, and then the session ID. As you can see down here where it says awaiting connections, no one was currently connected, but if someone were to pop in, their names would populate there. So next up, this is what you'll see when you type it in on your browser. So when you actually go to the website, it'll say you can download an application. I suggest you guys only connect via web. It's less intrusive. You don't have, if you don't have permissions on your laptop to actually download things, depending on what kind of laptops you have, then just using the web app doesn't download anything to your computer and just lets you stream off that. So you just connect via web. You'll get a little pop-up that says, hey, enter the meeting ID and then your name. You would enter that in and then you would connect. It's optimized for Google Chrome, and pretty much that's the best browser to use when using this. That covers everything in terms of connecting your laptop onto the screens. Do you guys have any questions on that?
This is probably a dumb question.
Yeah.
Is this the same system that we have in the back classroom?
Yeah, it's the same screen and everything. Yes.
Okay, same. We have pins back there as well, because I don't ever remember seeing any pins with that TV.
Yeah, yeah, there definitely is. Those ones are actually located on to the right and left. Location just varies depending on the size of the screens. As well as I noticed that I think you guys might have had some problems controlling your laptop with that display. I think I only saw an HDMI cable that was back there. You need the HDMI and USB in order to use the touch functionality. So the plate at the bottom has a USB underneath the HDMI port, so just make sure that both are plugged in when you're connecting to the screen. And that's the same for this case, but for this one, I actually zip tied together both of the cables, so there. When you plug it in on one side, you'll know to plug it in on the other.
In other words, we're going to get more zip ties and do the same thing to the back.
I could leave a few, yeah.
That would be great, thank you. Yeah. Is there still a wire back there?
John, you wanna go check it out there? I think we actually might have an extra USB cable too, so we might be able to leave that as well.
Perfect.
Oh no, this is my dongle because it's MacBook. Yeah, so it's just a raw HDMI and USB.
So we can have the guide put on the O drive, so when we have to go use it, we can connect it to refresh on memory. The slides that we're seeing.
Sure, yeah, and then we're also recording this.
So you'll actually, is this the type of laptops you guys have?
Some of those ones we have.
He said, "Ooh."
This only has display port, so you will need an adapter to plug into this from HDMI to display port. Mine's HDMI to USB-C, but you will need a HDMI to display port adapter to use it on those laptops. The newer ones definitely don't have display port or VGA. It's back here.
All right, what was that question?
How do we connect from view from this computer to there?
That is also a display port. So it has those display ports down there. So connect down to that cable, and then any one of those USBs. Yep.
So this laptop will need something different.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first opportunity to ask them any questions that you guys have, because I know we've had issues with sound, we've had issues with the touch screen. So, I know it's been a while, so if he's here, what do you got for him?
Yeah. So let
I
me.
think the big question everybody had was how to get that touch screen to work, but now that we know we were missing a cable, that kind of solves all our problems.
Yeah. And if you.
Yeah, it looks like their USB is actually connected to
And you were also advancing the slide with the pen, because I think people were trying to advance it as well before, but like Francine was saying, without the USB, we really didn't have that function, but do you have to have the pen to advance the slide, or can you just swipe slide it?
So it acts as a mouse click when you touch it. I'm using the pen just to not smudge up the screen. You can just use your finger. But it acts just like a mouse click, so you click forward on your slides. There's not really a way to go back on the slide while using the pen. So it'll just
I don't hear
push
that.
forward.
Hear that. Yeah, it sounds like there's some feedback going on,
Oh.
maybe with other sound, but.
Oh,
Yeah,
your phone?
you guys-
Maybe we'll push it back.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you wanna
I
log
think
out
it's
of
'cause
yours?
They're recording over here, so my microphone and everything that goes through. Can you hear me now?
Test,
Is this
test.
better? Testing? Yeah.
I don't know, I turned mine on.
It is not better.
Oh.
okay.
maybe his fans.
Nothing.
Are people able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Right. So basically, what he said is, you want to use the pen because it does act like a mouse, and, you can do it other ways, but you can do that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, because I'm like so smart with computers, haha, you're not actually touching anything with the laptop then?
Correct.
Flip the switch here. You're always using these screens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So the pen acts just as a left mouse click. So it's as if you had your mouse click and you're clicking forward on the slides. If you actually, let's see if I can click down. Yeah. So you see that little diamond and now it's a red dot? That's the actual pin on the shared screen.
Cool.
The feedback anybody else hear that?
Oh, it's also a little awkward because the mic's on the computer that's so far away.
Kelly, do you wanna try to have him log out and then log back in?
It just sounds like static.
Well, but if everybody mutes their mic except for maybe Carlos, it feels actually too like there's two feeds coming out of that room as you're speaking.
Oh, you know what? It's because my audio is coming out of the display. So let me. The box has the yeah, we're gonna lower the volume. But when I do that, then I'm not gonna be able to hear you guys. So.
All right. So do you want to go ahead and log back in then, because he won't be able to hear them.
Oh, he can hear them on his laptop.
Oh.
Carlos,
Yes.
what did you do different? Because earlier we heard you perfect, and then all of a sudden this all happened, so touch the button or something?
No.
No, not at all. Can you hear me better now? Without feedback? Testing 1, 2. Yeah, it might just be the Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
it too.
Do you wanna log out and then log back in real quick?
Yeah, I'll try.
I'll give you the password.
Do you guys see a Netgear Wi-Fi?
Here, I just see the Eglin.
That's the only one. Okay.
I do see a Eglin 47.
Is it you got good signal strength on it?
Yes.
All right. If you want, you can try to connect to that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it is Wi-Fi, if you want to connect to the Netgear, that might have might be a steadier.
Connection.
Yeah.
So let me log back in. We'll see if the problem got better. You have the remote again? No, just raise it up.
Sure.
Alright.
15.
Oh yeah. Can you guys hear me? Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I guess it was just logging in and out. Easy stuff. So actually, let me share screen one. So another thing, if you guys aren't getting audio on your PC, I'm sharing down here, not sharing that screen. If you go down to your sound settings on your PC, make sure that new line is selected. So you might have your speakers or your headphones connected as the output of your PC, but when you have the HDMI connected, you'll actually see where it says new line up here. Yep.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
Watching the draft this Monday. So is there a way for participants to see the same thing on their computer that they share in image, or is that only for the presenter?
No, it's only going to be for the presenter if you do the wireless screen share.
Turn the volume down.
Yeah.
So, because I know these people are having this all the time. So like, if I have a presentation and we have 3 different presenters, do we still do it like we used to, or we just bring the little, open up all the 3 different presentations and put it down at the bottom? And then on the smart screen, we would just touch with the pin that presentation and it'll pop up? Or do we still do it from our laptop?
Yeah, you can still have all 3 presentations on one, and then use the screen or use the touch screen to open up the different PowerPoints. It was just another option is also doing the wireless screen sharing. It works better for PowerPoints than if you were actually doing video on it because the quality on the stream is network dependent. So, if you start getting packet loss on your network, then the clarity on what you're streaming is gonna drop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything like you can do everything on the screen, but the sound, you still want us to use the box on the wall for?
The box on the wall?
I don't know.
The little power box that
Oh.
you have.
Oh, the Crestron? Well, the screen isn't connected to the Crestron or to the system.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
you would just raise the volume on the individual screen in the front.
Are those connected to that one?
No.
To do that, you would have to connect, like you said, a USB of some sort to this, right? Or an HDMI?
To
A
that
computer to get those.
to that PC, yes.
How
But
that-
then it wouldn't
Then it wouldn't.
yeah. And then you just select the PC from that to go to the side screens.
Can you
Okay.
say that like that in your basic terms, like you can't do that?
Huh?
Can you tell them how to do that if they wanted to use that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. This room's a little bit different. So, if you actually take the HDMI and the USB and you plug it into the system in the rack, the PC in the rack, and you route that to the side displays, it won't necessarily show you what's happening on the front screen, but it'll show you what's happening on the PC. So if you're sharing the same slides on the PC to the side screens, then it'll show that. If that makes sense.
so the 2 systems are separate, they're not integrated? So
Correct.
one screen show different things?
Yeah. But you could, plug this video, the video coming out that same PC to the front screen using the HDMI and USB.
So if we want it to be integrated, we just have to make sure that we're using it right.
Yeah.
So, I have a question, you might have already covered this, so, I'm not sure who was asking earlier, but a very similar question. Can you bounce between the PowerPoint presentation and, the internet? So you have like a link within your slide deck, you're covering it, you click on a link and it's gonna go to some web link, and then bounce back to your slides. And also, like, if you can demonstrate the right. I haven't seen that yet. I saw a picture where somebody wrote on the screen, but.
Yeah, so to write on a screen, there's a couple different things. Are you talking about writing on a PowerPoint, or are you talking about writing on, what's it called? Like the general, like whiteboard on the screen itself?
I was talking about like PowerPoint, but it's both, or, if we, whatever features you have with it. I don't think we've ever been given a breakdown of how that works.
Okay, yeah, so, To run it through, basically it's through PowerPoint selection as within itself. So if you were choosing to draw on the PowerPoint, you would actually have to go from because you guys are seeing my laptop screen, right, where it shows the like PowerPoint creator. Yeah, the different slides and everything. So you actually have to go to the Draw tab and select Draw with Touch. So that means when you go and you start your slides, you'll actually be drawing as opposed to moving the slides forward. The obvious downside of that is if you do that, if you do that, then the slide won't progress because it's in pin mode as opposed to in mouse mode. So, there we go. Come back to because I think there's already writing on it, so it defaults back to writing. Oh. Yeah, I think it's just bugging out because it's the Mac. Yeah, I apologize on that. My computer's Mac Windows thing is is messing up here. But that's one way is to actually use the draw function within the PowerPoint, right? The second way is actually on the screen itself. Go back to home. And go to whiteboard. Then when you actually draw on the whiteboard, you can actually just save it locally to the whiteboard and then email that to yourself because it's on the Wi-Fi, right? So when you go through, share. Aquamail or save with flash card. There's also a USB stick port on the side where you can put in a flash drive and have that. I'm sorry, I was on a different page, so I didn't catch that. If you guys were saying anything? No? I see someone highlighted that they were speaking. Yeah. Any other clarifications on that? I hadn't planned on it, but I can plug it directly into that computer. Like I said, I kind of just coiled up I zip tied the cables together, so you can kind of see some change. These cables. Yeah. Okay. So the only thing with that is, that PC is in the rack at the very bottom. So you have to open up the back of the rack to plug it in, and then if someone wants to bring their laptop in and present off their laptop, they have to unplug that cable, pull it out of the rack, and then plug it into their laptop. Okay. That's the rack. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Now, when we first got here, we weren't aware that there was an existing system in place, and we were told to essentially copy the same thing that happened in the classroom, which is the system is completely independent of that. So this screen is completely 100% independent of that system. That is how the small classroom is. They did not integrate the last display into that as well, so we didn't integrate it here. Because a bit more work goes into it than just plugging the cables if we wanted the system to integrate with that little touchpad. Because then you would be able to control the screen on and off from that touchpad. You'd basically be able to drive everything from there. The PC as well as that HDMI source that was in there would be able to be routable, but that would increase the scope of work, and that's way above my pay grade in terms of doing all that. So that's decisions above me. The only benefit, well, yes, it does. Unless you have the same slides and you push it on that PC, because there's those 4 side monitors here versus in the small classroom. So in order to share the presentation on this front screen, you would need to connect to that PC. Yeah. Yeah, well, so I can connect right now there's only one connection going to the smart board, right? So I can take that and plug it directly into that PC, but if someone wants to then use a laptop, they're gonna have to unplug it from that PC and pull the cable out. If it was integrated into the system, it would actually be plugged into the matrix. There's a 6x6 matrix in there that routes to all the displays, and it would essentially loop through that to then route to the screens. And then same thing, so whether you had a laptop or a PC, that matrix mixer will drive routing to the screen. I understand some of those words are a little bit more technical and
Yes, but I think primarily in-house, we use, the computers. Anyway, except for the tap GPS, but, we're using the main computer that's in the classroom. But now, like Kelly was saying, we do have a lot of students come in with computers and they kind of hook up and, having all those wires basically like some type of sticker, put these are the two, whether they go into the main PC or they're going into a laptop. These are the two that need to be plugged up. Would be helpful because people move it around a lot.
And we can talk offline, later something about integrating them all, so it's a little bit easier to present what our needs are gonna be. That's what we didn't think that we were actually purchasing. But that's fine, we want the smart board and like, we'll work on getting that, and then get you guys to come out again and, get that integration piece, since that's a little bit more complicated.
yeah, of course, yeah. I'm from Tampa, Florida, so I'm A-OK driving up here anytime.
Awesome. Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions for Carlos? Perfect, well, thank you so much, Carlos, for your time today.
No problem. Yeah, I sent Mary an email with the PowerPoint and the PDF version of it as well.